Sariya Khalifa. Okay, so I came to the protest today because we've had 23 years of oppression and corruption by the current regime. So the current regime came in without being democratically elected, and since they've been in rule, they've started a war with South Sudan. We've had a war in Darfur, we've had a war in the Blue Nile states, and in addition to that, there is a lot of human rights violations, particularly women's rights violations. So we find that a lot of people who protest or are against the government are detained illegally. They're not told why they're detained, they're not told where they're going to be detained, and they're not told kind of what they're being charged about. Also, we find that with particularly women's rights violations, we find that the use of rape and sexual abuse is very common in Sudan, and it's used as a way to keep the population down and to suppress them and to oppress them. So we've seen examples of the journalist who was ordered to be lashed because she was wearing pants or trousers, which makes absolutely no sense because there is no law specifically forbidding that. And then also we find that, I mean, the recent protests have been a result of austerity measures which have been put in place by the government. And they make absolutely no sense because we knew for a very long time that the South was going to separate. We knew we were going to lose our petrol. Why the government then refused to find alternative sources of income makes no sense. I mean, the only reason is because they're taking our money and putting it in their pockets. So we find that things that are very important, like education and things around hospitals and medical care, there's a very minimal amount of budget allocated to these things. So you have like 2.4% allocated to education, which is crazy in a country where illiteracy rates are insane. So I think that people have reached the point where they've decided enough is enough. We refuse to be governed by someone who is corrupt. We refuse to be governed by someone who refuses to take into account or even care or have any consideration for his people. And they've decided that we want to change. We want someone who is there to fight for us. We don't want someone who's stealing our money. We don't want someone who's killing our people, who's raping our women. We want a government that's fighting for us, that wants our welfare, that cares about the Sudanese people. And unfortunately, Umar al-Bashir is not that person. He does not care. Him and his government are only there for their own money and for their own sake.